I'd like to now introduce Dr. Sue Tierney. She's a C3E ambassador, and she's a managing principal of the analysis group. Sue is going to provide us a high-level framing of key energy policy issues. Sue's an expert on energy policy and economics and is a former Assistant Secretary for Policy at the U.S. Department of Energy. You can read her bio. She's in the program, and we're behind schedule, so I've got some time to make up, but a brief personal note about Sue. Sue and I were in the Clinton administration together at DOE, and the first time I really interacted with her, she probably doesn't remember, was at a White House meeting where DOE was in a dispute with EPA. I don't remember the issue, but I do remember Sue. I have to say, Sue eviscerated the arguments of EPA, and DOE won the day. She was awesome then, she's awesome now, and let's give Sue a warm welcome. Sue.
Good morning, everybody. It is so nice to be here. This is my town, so, well, Newton's my town. Boston's my town. It's great to be in Cambridge with you here today. I'm just thrilled. I love being called an ambassador. It's a euphemism for the old girl network. So that's really fun. Now I have a new title, not old girl. It's fun. So I have this impossible task of framing the issues. I mean, you've got a fantastic set of panelists here today, and I've really struggled with what to do when I think about this very, very cool initiative and the energy that's behind it and the work that's going into it to build a clean energy future. So you know about the elements of this program. It's fantastic, and you know that everything all of you are trying to do all the time is work on advancing clean energy and building a cadre of incredibly capable women to do that. I've put up here certain words that are part of the showcase of what this whole initiative's about. And I thought about trying to talk about a policy issue that describes the intersection between economics and technology and education. I couldn't get there in a small amount. So I just decided to do something really different. And those of you who hear me talk about policy all the time, I'm sure will be really happy. So I'm going to talk about my heroines in this field, because this is what this initiative's about. And I do think that this is framing the issues. And I just want to tell, there's a lot of my younger heroines in the audience, and you're not up here because you're not old enough. You'll get there someday. So I start here. This is not Mad Men, Southern California style. This is my family. I was raised in Southern California, and the starting point of my heroines, if you will, are this little charming 1950s family. I'm that little cute little girl in the middle. And you see that little girl up there in the flower pot? That's my sister who wasn't born in this picture. And I knew if she ever saw this speech, she would just die that I chose a picture without her in it. So I had to put her in it. She's my best friend, but she's 9 years younger, so you can imagine that she wasn't my best friend in the beginning. Those two guys right there that I'm sitting between, my parents engineered my future career. I can't believe it that they did this. They put me in the middle of two warring boys. All the time. I mean, I was born in the middle of them, of course, but that was my role in our family, was figuring out how to negotiate between two boys. Is it a surprise that I'm in the energy field? This is what we do. But the great thing was that those parents of mine, a heroine and a hero, oh, I'm going to cry. They're gone. They told me I could do anything I wanted to do. And that was the start of empowerment for me. Of course, I had to figure out how to punch those guys out of the way all the time. But they made it possible for me to follow my dreams. Thanks, Mom and Dad. I went to graduate school at Cornell and ended up working with a woman named Dorothy Nelkin. She taught me an incredible amount. So I was in the field of regional planning. I had a lot of economics. I had a lot of technology. I even took a law class, an engineering class. Cornell was like a shopping basket for me. It was just fantastic. But the thing that she did was focus attention on the intersection between values and technology, and I chose the energy area. I grew up in Southern California, as you can tell. Let's see if we'll go back to that. You can't see the mountains in the back of that picture. They're 10,000 feet tall. I grew up in the area where there was smog. You couldn't see the mountains when I grew up. And so I really thought it was kind of weird that, there's this huge car culture. Everybody's in their cars all the time. You can't see the mountains. The housing sprawl was all over the place. It made me curious. And when I went to Cornell, I chose to look at the intersection of technology and law, land use patterns, engineering, politics, and economics, and all of those things, of course, take you to the energy and infrastructure issues that are on many of your minds. And Dorothy Nelkin reminded me, with the whips that loving mentors always do, is that you have to remember that in every one of these systems there are people with very different values. She taught me that, and that has always been frontally for what I've thought about in my career. So I went to state government in Massachusetts, and there's several women that I worked with during that period of time. You saw Bobby Kate Skarnick last night. She was in government. She left government to work in private enterprise for many, many years and is now back in government. Incredible leader. You saw her last night. Gloria Larson is a woman who was, she doesn't really spend her time on energy, but she was a mentor for me because she speaks with Southern charm. She is so brilliant. She is so negotiating. Oh, God, that was a bad English sentence. Her skill in negotiating is so sublime. She's now college president, and she has a wonderful backbone. Ann Berwick and Janet Besser were people who were in government with me for a while. They came back into the private sector in government again. Ann is now at the Public Utility Commission as chair, but at the time, she was a mother of 4, working in the Attorney General's office and doing great things on environmental protection. But I want to talk to you about Gina McCarthy. Does everybody know Gina McCarthy? She is the coolest, spunky woman in the world. So I met her in state government here in Massachusetts. She is now the senior air administrator at the United States EPA. The thing she taught me is speaking truth all the time. She has the most incredible backbone. I think she actually wears now a bulletproof vest because she has to, and because she doesn't pull any punches when she decides something is the right mission and the right place to go, and she says, plain spoken with a wonderful Boston accent that I can't even begin to pretend to do, but she is a heroine. Oh, that sounded right. She's my hero, a female hero. She is not a heroine person. That was weird. But I have to tell you about Janice Fennell. There's probably no one in this room who knows her. She is my beloved former executive assistant and best friend in Boston. The thing she taught me, so I was environmental secretary in Massachusetts for a while. She taught me that I had to keep my door open even to talk to people I didn't want to talk to. And I don't mean, the other side of the issue or whatever it was, but she was constantly, picking me up, making me strong, and she was such a colleague. She is really, really a heroine of mine. I went to the Department of Energy and had a incredible time. I do remember, Melanie, your picture's up here. Pay attention there. There's a bunch of amazing gals who were in the Clinton administration or the prior administration. Linda Stuntz is a Republican who was in the prior administration. But these are all women with backbone in energy from a variety of different points of view. And they've all had incredible careers in the public sector and in the private sector. You're going to see a theme here of public sector service, and I don't mean to do that because all of these women that I'm showing were in the public sector are in lots of different jobs right now. But I want to mention Betsy Moeller, because the thing she taught me when she was the chairperson of the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission was to have a clear idea and drive an agenda and follow it. That is a key ingredient of what you need to do when you think about where you're going. And Hazel O'Leary was the Secretary of Energy when I served in the administration. The thing I have to thank her for was basically inviting me into the job. It was an incredible experience to be asked to do that. I hope all of you get a chance to shake your careers up by seeing a new place to work. She also taught me that you need to be prepared. Now, Melanie and I were laughing ahead of time because we're always doing things at the last minute. But Hazel O'Leary was a person who taught me about planning for where you want to go with your next series of meetings so that you can get a sense of momentum as you're heading forth. She also taught me about the developing world and gave me the opportunity as a head of policy, international and domestic policy, to go to the developing world. And ever since then, I've had a special interest in China and working on issues there in clean energy. For 12 years after leaving government, I had the joy of serving on the board and then chairing the board of the Energy Foundation, a philanthropy that is funded by many, many other large major foundations. The women on the board there were incredible. You saw Maxine Savitz last night. Maxine, are you here? I don't even know. She's a rock star in terms of a scientist and technologist. And her contributions from the private sector in technology were amazing. Charlotte is there now. Rose McKinney-James is a businesswoman, former political and still political animal from Nevada, but just the epitome of grace and courage. Rosina Bierbaum is from the University of Michigan and has been in a number of technology policy roles. She taught me about adaptation issues for changing climate. But Noah Stark is probably somebody you don't know. Noah is from the family that is the founders of the 3M fortune. So I think of those yellow sticks as, those, what do you got, stickies from 3M. That enabled the McKnight Foundation, which was Noah's family, to be a major funder of things to protect the environment along the Mississippi River. But Noah brought a sense of mission and drive to get things done. I'm going to go quickly. I'm almost done. Because I'm mentioning quite a few women here who have had many hats, going in and out of government. Diane Grunick is here, and Marilyn is here, two of my heroines from different settings. Kateri is back there sick in the back of the room from the Alliance to Save Energy. And Kateri is a person, even she's doing it right now. She never stops smiling. And that is the most incredible tool that she uses in combination with her skill in working with people and collaborating and driving for a mission of energy efficiency. And I really hope you feel better. Susan Hochfield. You said that it was Ernie and Melanie and others who did this, but you championed Mighty. So you are a mighty gal in this. And so you really are our heroine to making this a part of the entire fabric of what MIT is doing. And Frances Beinecke, who is also here. I didn't just choose people who were here. It's just we're all the old gals. So I've gotten to know Frances pretty well over the last couple of years, but have admired her for a much longer period of time from her work at the Natural Resources Defense Council. She is, I've been using the word of mission-driven here on a number of occasions, which is really important for your work. But Frances brings a quiet, calm leadership rudder to where she's going and never forgets what you care about. And she's just been an incredible role model in a field of environmental NGOs. Mindy Luber is a person from Boston as well. She heads Ceres. And the thing she taught me was how to be creative about thinking about the issues at the nexus between private investment, finance, making markets work right, and putting that to good use for environmental protection. She has brought the pension fund managers to bear on changing attention of climate risk in many, many communities around the world. And her ability to think about the corporate interest in sustainability has been incredible. Christina, thank you for this initiative. It's wonderful. Christina is also a superstar, Christina Johnson. She hails from academia, but I think of you as not just an academic, but someone who really knew how to apply technology to solve problems. And she has had a foot in academia and in business, and now most recently in government. I know personally that she gave up the opportunity to be a college president and went to the Department of Energy to serve as undersecretary and to serve the United States population. And we really thank you for your dedicated service. And you're going to be okay, even though you went to the Department of Energy and weren't that college president. You're going to be okay. Katie McGinty, I don't know if she's here yet, but Katie is just an extraordinary person. I got to know her in the Clinton administration when she headed the Council on Environmental Quality, and she was a little pipsqueak. She was teeny. No, I don't mean teeny size. Of course, she is teeny size. But she was young, and she headed this. She sat down all the agencies. That probably was one of those meetings that we were at, where Katie, this little whippersnapper, not old enough to be herding cats, not hoarding cats. But she was so skilled in collaboration and bringing people to the table. And I've known Katie over 20 plus years now and watched her graceful, strategic, laser-focused sense on what you need to do. And she is totally a rock star. She's been in business, she's been in government, she's been in academia. She's just incredible. Oh, and she sits on solar panels too, by the way. Those of you who are electricity groupies, like I am, know that Cheryl LaFleur is now one of the commissioners at the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. But I've known her for 30 years up here in Boston because she really grew up at the local electric company as it became a larger and larger player in the Northeast electric and gas market. And she benefited from a culture of that company, which at the time was New England Electric System and then eventually became National Grid. But she benefited from a culture where her mentors moved people around to different boxes in the organization to grow different muscle. And she's a lawyer, doesn't act like it. She acts like a well-rounded person. That was not a little slam to all the lawyers in the audience. But she's just a quiet, calm champion of doing the right thing. Martha Samuelson's probably somebody you don't know, but she is one of my heroes. She is the president of my company. She's been there for 25 years, and it's now 550 people. We do economic and strategy consulting. And the thing I love about her is she never parks her sensibilities at the door. She has a great sense of organization and leadership, and she cares about people, and it shows in every single meeting that she operates. Jody Freeman is definitely a hero. If you follow what happens on the law on climate change in the United States, she wrote the amicus brief, as I understand it, for the Massachusetts versus EPA decision, and is a professor at Harvard Law School. But she spent some time in the Obama White House, and I got to know her while I was working on the transition team there, and she just rocks. She's younger. I put her in here because I think she just walks on shoulders because she is so integrative. She's so creative. She's such a leader of people, and she's brilliant. She's teaching a whole new group of young women and men to enter this field, and I thank her for that. And I think the last person I have up here is Susan Bell. You may not know her. She was senior vice president at the Hewlett Foundation until just recently, And she championed that foundation to spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars on climate change work around the globe and introducing clean energy in Asia, in Africa, in the United States, in Europe. And she is truly a clean energy hero. So the thing that we have about the framing of the issues is advancing your careers is a joy. You get to work with women and men with intelligence, leadership, instincts, insights. You can see the list of things and qualities that those people bring. I hope you emulate them. They have backbone, stamina, heart, courage, friendship. I almost put good shoes up here, but I thought that would be too tacky. And I just have to say, I would not have had this career, which has been wonderful. I've been able to joyfully work in this field for all these years because of those three men. So thank you so much, and have a great day here, and a great life.